Konnichiwa, y'all. I'm Matt. This is Tim right here.
This is Tim.
Yeah. Just kidding, guys. What's up? It's Corbin and Brian filling in for Matt and Tim today. You know, we said, hey guys, let us test out our tree knowledge today on the 10 at 10. And yeah, it's a great Thursday. We got some cool trees for you guys today. What do we got starting for them, man?
Man, I tell you what, dude, we got a really nice lineup of trees coming up for you guys. So make sure you're signed up for that weekly email because we send that out to let you guys know every Tuesday and Thursday, what we're going to list. So you got kind of a heads up. And then we do this video to kind of showcase 10 of those 20 trees to show you a little bit more about them and just have a conversation about it. But today, we got one of my favorite kind of pines right here, Pinus parviflora. Absolutely love the Pinus parviflora, and we got Addox dwarf.
Yeah, I mean, I love white pines. They have such a nice structure in the garden. This is a very short needle pine, so sometimes you'll see pine trees, like they'll have about an inch long needle. This is probably about what, like a 1/4 inch to a 1/3 of an inch, which adds a really nice texture in the garden. It makes this thing look really full and dense. And it's gonna allow you to kind of prune it and, you know, pinch back some of those needle clumps really easily to kind of maybe even manipulate this into like one of those floating cloud style prunings.
Yeah, I absolutely love the like you said, the texture is unique for Pinus parviflora to have these short of needles on these. So it's really really great texture in the garden. This is a dwarf variety. It was a witch's broom. So you can expect about 4 to 6 feet in 10 years. So I think it's something that, you know, if you have a small space in your garden and you're needing an evergreen presence that's going to stay green year round, this is a great choice for that.
Yeah, I mean, white pines, they are very timeless. They have they're so beautiful in how they look, and yeah, having that nice dwarf compact variety is something that you can sit there, enjoy it on the patio, enjoy it, you know, next to some other maples in the gardens. Maybe have a little bed in the front of your house where, you know, you don't want a full-size pine in there, but you want some color, you want some texture. This is going to provide it. Shout out to my old professor, Trey Adcock. This isn't his tree, but he's a cool dude.
Right on. Get one of these today. All right, guys, we got another cool plant for you here. We got an amazing reticulated Japanese maple, Acer palmatum koyuki. This one's really cool, man. It takes me back to like one of my first like experiences with reticulated types of the Shigetatsusawa. Kind of has that feeling, but this gives you a little bit more. It has some serrated edges on those lobes, and but the fall color is really, really nice. Yellows and oranges on that as well. So just a combination of that cream reticulated green leaf and then going into those crazy fall colors. I love this tree. Yeah,
I mean, this one's just super cool. Like you said, that heavily dissected Matsumura style where it almost looks like a lace leaf. But you can tell it has a little bit fatter lobes.
Yep.
I love the amount of serration on this one. I think that's very nice, kind of lends itself to being that reticulated variety and kind of giving you a lot more movement inside of just the leaf itself. Koyuki, this is definitely one I'm trying to get a little bit more familiar with. I think that it's so beautiful. And like sitting here, looking at the leaf itself, I see a lot of similarities to maybe some of those other Matsumura styles, like black lace, possibly.
Yep.
Seeing that, comparing and contrasting with this one in the spring garden would just be amazing. You get something of that similar leaf shape with completely contrasting colors, and I think that would just make an awesome pair in the garden. And I think today might be a little bit of a snowy little 10 at 10.
Might be a little snowy, yeah.
You know, koyuki meaning like little snowflake.
Right.
And there might be some other creatures or something that involve the snow. Who knows, man?
So pick up a koyuki today. All right, guys. So speaking of snow, we're bringing the snow right here. We got Acer palmatum, Snowkitten, one of the coolest Makawa variances out there right now. I think this thing is wicked awesome. beautiful white and pink variegation on a Makawa type is absolutely amazing. That tight structure that you get with Makawa, but you get this crazy variegation on it.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be hitting the slopes with the Snowkitten right here. I just love this one. I think each Snowkitten that you see kind of has like a different variegation. Like playing with this one in different conditions is so fun because it's like, I mean, if you're on the Facebook, hopefully you've seen Brian's picture of a Snowkitten that he got, I guess, a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And just how amazingly variegated that looks. We're just in the stock house. I just saw one that really had like a nice speckled, like sand dusting type of variegation.
Yeah.
And then here, you can tell a lot of these might have been cut back a little bit for scion, but don't fret because that actually helps push a lot of variegation back into the tree. That's something that Matt and Tim say can really pick up some of the colors on this variety and some of the other varieties with a similar variegation.
Yeah.
And you can definitely see that. That's how we get these whites and pinks, as they've been cut back a little bit. And that tree is pushing all of those awesome white leaves.
Yeah. Snowkitten is absolutely, I think, you know, one of the most epic of the Makawa variants out there right now. Now we have these on a high graft here, and you know what I learned about that is that Talon Buckholz really thinks that giving them proper airflow and some height and a more vigorous rootstock really helps support the plant. You know, Snowkitten can be a little bit finicky of a tree, especially for a beginner collector or something like that. It requires a little bit more extra attention, but getting it on a high graft and on a larger rootstock like that really does help kind of support the plant for all of its proper nutrients and all of that. I have one of these in a wooden cedar box, and I really think that helps when it comes to the springtime. It leafs out a little bit slower because that box doesn't heat up as much as like in a ceramic pot. So it takes longer for the plant to leaf out, and that's what you want to get that really nice variegation popping off of that. Absolutely cool, man. Snowkittens, these seasons are going to sell out lightning fast. We try to bring as many numbers of these as we possibly can, but we always let people know that, you know, we're constantly working to build our numbers. But we do have a huge customer base, so that when these hit the site, they usually don't last very long. But definitely make sure you score you a Snowkitten.
Yeah, and if you miss out on today, guys,
there'll be more.
Trust me, we've seen the Buckholz houses. They got a couple Snowkittens there.
They got a few Snowkittens, and we're always trying to bring some more. So we got them today on the 10 at 10. Make sure you get you one.
Oh, yeah. Guys, do you like Pinus Mugo? Well, this is definitely one of my favorite Pinus Mugos. We got Carsons Winter Gold.
Yep.
I mean, this one is an amazing pine. And we got them on standards here today.
Yeah, these look absolutely amazing. I really like, I honestly hadn't seen too many of the Carsons on a high graft like that. I think it really does look nice. I think because you're going to have in the winter months when this thing turns yellow, because the needles turn this bright yellow color in the winter. And this just be like a floating little yellow cloud up in the sky here with that standard. Going to really add a lot of cool like texture and color to your garden. I have one of these, a lower graft in my garden, man, and it does. In the winter, it really performs. Now, you can get a little bit green in the summer months. You're going to lose a little bit of that yellow kind of frosted needle look that you get in the winter. But don't fret and don't worry. When winter starts to arrive again, you'll start to see those yellows come back into the needles.
Yeah, I mean, this one is so amazing. It's like you go to Buckholz nursery during the springtime, during the summertime. But it's also fun to go to the wintertime as well. You get to see the blue forest.
Yeah.
And then Talon, I think he likes this one a decent bit. You know, I think it takes a lot for Talon to maybe plant two of a tree at his nursery. And there, he's got two awesome Carsons Winter Golds there. And, I mean, if you guys like Chief Joseph, I think you get like a similar color. It might be a little less like a bronzy color. Yeah. This one's more of like that kind of like a lightning bolt yellow type deal. Yep. But the play between something like Chief Joseph and Carsons Winter Gold is so amazing. And yeah, the yellowing on the needles during the wintertime, holy cow, it cannot be like harped on enough because it is just like this giant ball of like yellow, and sometimes I think like the cones are a little different color, and like the contrast is so nice.
Yeah, definitely, man. I really have been getting into conifers a lot more over the last few years, especially now that I'm living here in Western North Carolina. You can get away with growing a lot more variety of conifers. So I love the idea of this one being up on a standard. I mean, this is a dwarf variety, so it's only going to get maybe 2 to 3 feet in 10 years. So you're only looking at a small, a pretty small ball at the top of this standard. But man, when it goes into that winter yellow color, absolutely creates a dynamic color change in your garden.
Yeah, this thing packs a nice punch in a little package, man.
That's right. All right, guys, we got another really cool tree. This is kind of like taking it back old school here. We got Acer palmatum Dishojo. Very, very cool tree, man. This one is very popular for bonsai. One of the first pictures on the website is this amazing bonsai of Dishojo. Absolutely stunning, man. I can't imagine what it takes, to get to that far into the world of bonsai to create such an amazing tree that looks that aged that it has. It's absolutely wild. This one's got a great spring color, really nice bright cherry red.
Yeah, definitely. It's like whenever I went to Japan, went to an awesome bonsai garden in Tokyo, and while I was there, I was like, okay, I'm starting to see some cultivars I know. It's like, okay, well, that's Shishi, Gashira, that's Yamamomiji.
Yeah.
Then, they had some other classic greens, but then it's like, all right, guys, you can tell it to Dishojo whenever you see it. And I think that's what's so awesome about it. It scratches that itch of traditional, but it gives you that like little flash of spring color. It gives you that it factor during the springtime. Mm-hmm. And obviously bonsai is so amazing, but I love seeing like a large specimen of this tree. It's just so nice. I mean, I talked about my maple journey, how, I was enjoying the flash. I love the variegation. Spring interest is something I'm starting to dabble around. Dishojo is one of those ones, it's like a fine wine. You kind of roll it around in your mouth a little bit, and then you just
absolutely
kind of take a good whiff of it, and it's like, holy cow. It's hard to beat the spring colors on this.
It really is, man. It's got a smaller leaf, too, so it's got a great texture to it. You can expect about 10 to 12 feet in 10 years, so a good grower as well. And man, the fall color, sometimes the pictures of a fall color and a spring color of this tree, you can't hardly tell the difference. So the bright fall color on this is absolutely electric. So, and that's what I think makes it so interesting, especially in the bonsai world, is that you get those plays of all those great changes throughout the season. Great spring color, a nice green in the summer, then you get some nude flushes over top of that, and then an electric red fall color on that as well. Hard to beat Dishojo. I mean, this is an old school classic for a reason, been around for a long time, and everybody's always kind of clamoring to get their hands on a Dishojo.
Yeah, and I know Matt says this a lot, but I'll harp on it too. Get one in the ground if you're doing bonsai. A lot of people like, Heron's Bonsai or, Bonsai Empire, all those guys, most of the time they have a host tree or a mother tree that, they have in the ground. They're either pruning it to kind of get a bonsai shape, or they're picking branches to do rooted, like a root layer on there.
Yeah.
And that's how you get a pretty good advanced bonsai relatively in a short manner. But this one's just so cool. You're not going to want to miss it.
Dishojo.
Man, I pity a foo who doesn't get an Acer palmatum Mama Foo.
Mama Foo. We were just talking about how, when you first got into maples, it was all about the flash, the variegation, and all that. Well, Mama Foo does it really, really well. This one is really known for its kind of just hot pink variegations in that. Really, when it first leaves out, man, it's so vibrantly pink. With that green on pink, it's just such a nice contrast. The leaf structure is interesting too. Kind of gives you these divided lobes with serrated edges. A lot of irregular shape on the leaves as well. So just texturally, it really stands out in the garden.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here like looking at these leaves. I'm like, what does this remind me of? I think I might have came across something. I was like, we had Manny no Sato last 10 at 10. But then also like Shiraya no Sume maybe. Like you mix those two leaves together and you kind of get something like that Mama Fu going on. And yeah, I mean, talk about some flashy flash right here. I mean, I'm enamored. Anything like that's in that Beni Shishihinga, that butterfly, that Mama Fu type variegation, like I just love it. You get some of the most consistent white colors, get some of the nice pinks, and this thing during the fall time, I mean, all those areas where you have variegation is going to show up variegated. And they're going to be those hot pinks. They're going to be, you know, those darker kind of pink colors, and like, oh man, it's going to look dope.
It's pretty wild, man. I love how the variegation affects and plays into the fall color as well. It just kind of adds another layer, another dimension to an amazing cultivar. But this one's going to, you know, it's going to be around 10 to 12 feet in 15 years. So a medium-sized tree for your landscape. And I think this time of the year too, you get into the summer months, you can get some cream colors on that green, still some light pinks in there, but a lot of cream whites with a little pink highlights, and then your greens. And then, yeah, you get into the fall colors and you get some reds and some pinks on that. Depending on where that variegation lands, the leaf has a little bit of like bicolor effect to it. Really cool.
Yeah, this one is so amazing. I mean, it's one you can get lost in just kind of looking at each individual leaf. And then whenever you back up from it, you kind of get to enjoy like that white, you know, figure that starts to appear from a distance. And I think that's one of my favorite things is like, it's kind of like that cubism, like in art, where it's like, okay, well, one thing looks one way whenever you're looking from a distance, but then as you get closer and closer, it kind of takes on this new feel.
Absolutely.
And that's a great thing that this one does as well.
Yeah, really cool, newer introduction. Hadn't been around that long. I think it came out in 2012. So it hadn't been around a long time, but we're trying to build numbers on this and get it in more gardens, because I think everybody, when you get one of these in your collection, you're going to be blown away at just the amount of variegation that each one of these plants has, and that electric pink color in the spring, hard to beat.
That's hard to beat.
Mama Fu. All right, guys, we got a weirdo plant for you today. Like when we pulled these for the 10 to 10, I was like, man, this thing is so freaking cool. We got a Quercus, man. This is an emperor oak called Pinet defaida. And the really cool, it's like, imagine the lace leaf version of an oak tree is the best way I can describe it. Really, really irregular shaped leaves, very long. I think it said it could get up to like 8 inches long on those leaves. So really nice big leaves, but they're all very heavily dissected, which is super unusual for an oak tree.
Yeah, and like something that draws me to this too is obviously you have, you know, the lace leaf, but like whenever you look at this thing, it has such a weird texture on the leaf. Like it almost looks, I mean, it's very bumpy. It's like, you know, almost like a sandpaper. And as you look at it, you kind of see like a white flecks on it that kind of give it like, it outlines the leaf of the plant.
Yeah, really cool texture, man. It has a leathery feel to it. You know, like leather, you have one side that's kind of slick and smooth, and you can feel the little bit of soft side on the other. So it does have an interesting feel and texture and look and style. I mean, this is kind of getting outside of the box when it comes to, you know, the world of oak trees. Really cool introduction. I think if you're looking for just a weird plant to put in your garden that you just need some crazy texture, and this thing gets some great fall color too. We're talking like orange fall colors. So this thing lights up orange with these crazy dissected leaves. Really cool tree.
Yeah, I know. I'm like sitting here, I'm like, man, what if you just had like a freaky garden, you know? Like, you were like, all right, we're putting the Pinet defaida in there. We're going to put a monkey puzzle in there.
Yeah.
And we're going to throw in maybe like a lace leaf, who knows, maybe a horse chestnut in there.
Right.
And you're going to get a lot of like crazy contrasting stuff. You know, plants from all over the world. And like, I mean, as a plant collectors, I mean, we love the weird stuff.
Absolutely.
We love to see what nature can do. And to have an oak like this, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So get a Pinet defaida today if you want a little something weird in your garden.
All right, guys, we got one of the 4 horsemen of the garden apocalypse, Pestilence. I mean, Acer campestre Pestilence, guys.
Pestilence.
Now this
yes.
won't be causing you any grief in the garden. It might brighten it up a little bit, honestly. This is an awesome yellow Acer campestre, that European field maple you might know from other cultivars such as Carnival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is going to be a bright yellow form when it comes out in springs. Really, really bright yellow colors, kind of fading to this nice lime green in your summer months. Really, really great tree. I mean, this is one that I haven't had a lot of experience growing many of the campestre. I need to get a Carnival that's crazy variegated form of that, but now we have a golden form. So I absolutely love just kind of getting to play into these different species of maples.
Yeah, I think the biggest selling point for me, obviously, on this guy is going to be the yellow. But the second thing is I love like a rounded leaf on a maple.
Yeah, this thing's got great texture.
If you checked out my top 5, you know, I talked about Koyama Dynamically. This one really kind of reminds me a lot of that, you know, that kind of snowflake, rounded snowflake leaf.
Yeah.
And this thing is, it's so awesome, man. I really like how that texture of the leaf looks. It's a really nice yellow whenever it gets a little bit of sun to pick that up. And these are on a really nice size standard. This is more of like a medium sized growth tree. And I think a lot of the times the campestras are a little bit more bush form, kind of.
Yeah.
They don't put on a lot of like longer branches. It's kind of like a dense tree. So having it up on a standard is actually something that works out pretty good with these. Like I've seen Carnival on a high standard.
Yeah,
and,
looks nice. Yeah,
it looks very nice, and this is going to give you a very similar effect, but it's going to give you a nice yellow, which is going to contrast against a lot of other colors in the garden.
Awesome tree. Pick one of these up today.
Man, Brian, wake them up, bro, because they sleeping on those large sizes.
We got some
MrMaple.com.
10-gallon, man. 10-gallon Acer pomatum Tamukiyama. Or if you're from Oklahoma and hick like me, you say Tamukiyama. This is a classic Japanese maple. I mean, so popular. I think, in my opinion, like one of the most popular lace leaf varieties, the red lace leaf varieties. Tamukiyama is always a big selling hit in every nursery out there. A lot of people are wanting one of these in their gardens. It's usually kind of when you start out, you're like, man, I want one of those red weeping Japanese maples. 9 times out of 10, it's a Tamukiyama, and we got some crazy sizes here in 10 gallons.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't that good, would the Japanese continue to pump it out for 300 years?
300 years.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I mean, these are some of the most hardy trees. Yeah. I think, you know, I lived in Nashville for a little bit. Obviously, you guys know we got hit by the hurricane a couple months ago. And right in the middle of where all that water was running, maybe, you know, a little bit like maybe a couple feet away from the epicenter, underneath about 4 foot of water, there's 2 Tamukiyamas that used to sit in front of the Wendy's. And, you know, we got hit, fall happened, everything dropped leaf. Guess what? I rolled back through town. Tamukiyama is still kicking it, man.
Still kicking it. So, surviving the flood.
I mean, that's just so crazy to me to think about. And whenever, you know, there's a tree that's this old, that's been in the trade for that long, you have to understand that this thing's been through it all, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, I love
awesome.
the history behind this. I mean, this is one that's been around for so long, and I think it's cool to kind of pay your respect and pay your dues to, you know, what trees kind of paved the road to where we are now in the cultivation of all these newer cultivars and all of that. And there's so many new exciting cultivars, but sometimes you got to just take it back to the OG and get back to some of the classics and appreciate how much beauty they provide in the landscape. And for how long they've been doing it, it's outstanding. Yeah, 300 years of history on this plant is absolutely remarkable. I think, you know, when it comes to the red spring color, definitely a really nice bright red spot in your garden. Great structure on Tamukiyama as well. These 10 gallons got a really nice structure already. And then you get those crazy red fall colors on it too. It's hard to beat a Tamukiyama. I mean, it's been around for so long. I think it stood the test of time. So, definitely. You know, if you're looking for a great lace leaf to start with and you need something a bigger size, we got some big beefy 10 gallons on this available today. So make sure to pick one of these up.
And guys, remember, 10 gallons do not ship with a pot.
Right.
So whenever it gets there, be ready to either put it in the ground or put it in another pot. Just because this big pot, you know, gets a little over cumbersome in shipping, and we're just trying to make sure the tree gets safe to y'all. But that's 10 of the 20 trees that we want to talk about today for the 10 at 10. My homie Brian.
Yeah, man. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Me and Corbin's been kicking it out here in the garden. We love getting outside. It's a lot cooler out here than it is in the greenhouse. So we're looking for a good reason to come out here in the garden, enjoy the birds, the scenery around us, all these beautiful trees. Appreciate you guys tuning in, man. It's because of you we get to do this every week. We try to come up with all these cool plants because we know you guys are looking for something cool to buy and add to your garden. So make sure you follow us on Facebook. Share some pictures of your gardens. I would love to see more of other people's garden because it inspires me in my garden. I need to try to get better at sharing my garden as well, so we can all kind of share what we're into, what we're working on, pathways we're putting in, new trees that we put in our gardens. It's so exciting to get out there.
Yeah, man, it really is. And you know, you got people from all across the country, all different size gardens, all different, you know, favor of trees.
Yeah,
you know,
oh yeah.
And it's just awesome. Real nice community. If you're in that live chat right now, say what's up. Thanks for watching, y'all. Make sure to drop a like, comment down below. And remember, take care
God bless.
and have a great day.